stir it up. The Char Siu sauce, the barbecue sauce. So we've got 5 spice in here. We've got dark brown sugar, and you know, I use dark brown sugar because a lot of you guys have said that you're actually not able to get molasses. So if you can't get molasses, then you can use dark brown sugar. Okay, so this is all mixed up. Now, what you do is take that, just pour it over the chicken. Okay, so when you're marinating this thing, make sure you peel back the skin a little bit. Make sure you get enough sauce underneath the skin. You see that? And that'll do its job marinating. You make a visit for each one of these pieces, and make sure all the marinade goes in there because we want that flavor to penetrate. Any kind of nooks and crannies in here, you want to try to get some of that marinade in there. Okay, so we've got our Char Siu chicken out of the refrigerator marinated overnight, and we took it out for about, I don't know, it's been 2 or 3 hours doing other things. So I'm going to take this off right now, and you can see there's a lot of sauce on here. And what I've done here to get it ready for the oven, I've preheated the oven, and we're going to put 4 of our chicken breasts on there. They're quite big, and what you want to do, take the chicken breast, let it drip of the sauce. It's been, you know, we put it under the skin, the sauce under the skin. We made sure it's sitting in the sauce. So you just wanted to let it drip a little bit because it's going to roast, and we're going to baste it while it's in the oven. And you don't want too much excess sauce on it initially. So these are big chicken thighs here. They're about ½ pound a piece actually, because this is about 2 pounds of chicken thigh. So I'm going to give them some good room. And this parchment is great because the parchment is essentially non-stick, and then this heavy-duty foil on this half sheet pan really allows for easy cleanup. So that's it. That's what we're going to have. And now if you notice, we've got all this marinade here left. And what I'm going to do is take a saucepan, and this has been marinating in raw chicken. We're going to scrape this into a small saucepan. Get everything, all that goodness in here. And what I'm going to do is to this, I'm going to add a little bit of water, and I'm going to add a little bit of maltose in here. Okay, paper towel here. Okay. And it's going to be about a tablespoon of maltose, or if you don't have maltose, you can use honey. So I'm going to sort of approximate it here. This is why we use maltose. You see how sticky that is? And this stickiness really makes a nice baste over the chicken. So I'm going to approximate to about a tablespoon, maybe a little bit more. All right. I'm going to put that in there. And then I'm going to add water to it, and I'm going to cook it in the saucepan and reduce it down and make sure cook it all so it's kind of cooked, sterile, so we're not worried about the raw chicken. And then when we baste it, we don't have to worry about basting it and leaving it in the oven for a long time for everything to cook. Just a little bit safer for those of you out there, because I received a lot of comments on our Char Siu about that. Hey, you're using that raw marinade for basting. But usually what I say is that you can do that, but you just have to cook it in the oven, and you know, when it sizzles on top on the surface, you know, it cooks off right away. You know, a few minutes, give it 5 minutes even, but I think it cooks off sooner than that. This way, you're going to have cooked marinade, and when you're basting it with cooked marinade, you could actually just baste it and, you know, leave it in the oven for a minute, or you could actually, even if you want, baste the hot chicken after you take it out and not worry about having, you know, getting salmonella from the chicken. So this will be ready for the oven, 350 degrees for about 45 minutes. We'll see. These look a little bit like they're big thighs, so they might take a little bit longer, but we'll monitor as we go along. All right, here we go. Perfect. All right, here goes right in the oven. Nice hot oven. We'll set the timer.
see you in 45 minutes.
Okay, so we've got a little bit of heat on here. And I'll turn it up slightly. And I added about 2 tablespoons of water, 1 or 2 tablespoons of water. Either one is okay because we're going to reduce this a little bit. So let it come up to a simmer and cook, because again, this is the raw marinade that we're cooking. You see that maltose is melting. Got a nice little garlic bit, so this is really full of flavor. And now we're putting that maltose, and you see how sticky that maltose was. It's going to be very, very nice for basting. Just going to make sure that this comes up to like a boil. It's a good simmer, but I want to get it a good boil. There you go. That's pretty good. You see, it's fully bubbling. It's been simmering for a couple of minutes now, actually. So it's nice and reduced. It's starting to coat the spoon. You can see that. Just starting to coat the spoon. You don't want it too thick, so I'm going to turn off the heat. So what we'll do with this basting is we'll probably wait until the chicken cooks to a nice little bit of a crust first, which is about 30 minutes or so, and then we'll start basting it, because you don't want to baste it too early, because the marinade will burn. This basting liquid will burn because there's a lot of sugar in it, maltose now. So we're going to wait probably 30 minutes, maybe even 5 to 10 minutes before it's done. We'll baste it once and then baste it again right before, and then you'll be ready to go. And look at the consistency now after it cools. This is exactly what you want. That little extra liquid is cooked off, the maltose is incorporated, and all you need now is a basting brush. All right, 30 minutes. Look at that, look how nice that is. Okay, we are going to take this out. Oh boy, look at these. So you've got a little oil on here. You've got a little bit of basting liquid. Look at that. Ooh, lovely. That is lovely. I'll take a little of this oil too, baste it on top. Look how nice that looks. I chose to let these go for 45 minutes before basting, and they look really nice. You could do it a little bit earlier, but I think this is pretty good. And again, I'm going to use some of this liquid that's on the bottom here. Keep this moist. All right, I'm going to pop this in the oven again for probably, some of these thighs are kind of big. This one looks like it's almost done. You know, I could almost pull this out in 5 minutes, this little guy. But you know what? This sauce, this basting sauce is cooked already. So we could just baste this and put it in for another 30 seconds or a minute to caramelize it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go for another 45 minutes. So back in the oven.
I'll just do one. For now.
Oh boy.
So you've got a little oil on here, you've got a little bit of basting liquid, look at